Brandon Carlisle here with Tough Enough Movement. Today I was going to do a little mini episode, and today I wanted to talk about imposter syndrome and how a lot of people, I think, deal with that when they're venturing into new territories or trying to do something new or do something different or just experiment. And it's that struggle of thinking, why me? How can I do this? How am I credible? How am I capable? Why would people listen to me? And like, how can I help? I'm a nobody. And those are thoughts that I have and have had a lot, especially launching this podcast and trying to start this of helping people. It's where I sit there and I have these doubts in my head of why can you help? Like, what are you going to say to people? What are you going to do? You're just a dumb construction grunt. Like, you don't have these big degrees. You don't have any credentials. You don't have those things to make you a credible person. And I think people are going to deal with those obviously in different ways, depending on what they're trying to do and what they're trying to reach, what their reach is. And so I struggle with it in the beginning of starting it, and I still do, especially lately, because I've been having some issues with some brain fog, short term memory, word recollection, and just train of thought. And so for me, it makes it even harder when I'm shooting these episodes because sometimes what I want to say doesn't come out. And then I start getting in my head of, man, you're so stupid. You're so dumb. Like, why are you even trying this? And so for people to get past that, it's really hard. And for me, like I was saying, struggling with all these things, for a while, I just thought it was a CTE and things like that. But I went in and got tested and learned that I have toxic brain syndrome, which basically I have a bunch of toxins floating around in my fluid up by the brain that are poisoning me. And I haven't been able to get the treatment for it that I need. I need to get these IVs so that I can clear out all those toxins to get rid of this stuff. And the doctor that I go to isn't able to get those IVs. So I'm still struggling with that. So while I'm shooting these podcasts and these words won't come to me and the train of thought gets lost. And I feel like I'm not taking the conversation the way I want to or the way I feel. And so in my head during these podcasts, that imposter syndrome just will really start to tear at me and it gets into my anxiety. And so this has really taken me out of my comfort zone. But at the end of the podcast, I go back and watch it and listen and realize you're doing okay. They're not great, I know that, but I'm like, you're doing okay. And I feel like, the feedback I'm getting is it's a good thing. And it was really hard to get out of that comfort zone and do that. And I was listening to a lot of podcasts and books while I'm working and everything like that throughout the day. And the other day I was listening to a podcast. It was Jay Shetty's On Purpose with Ed Milet. And in that, Ed Milet was talking. He doesn't say imposter syndrome, but he basically says that. He's like, what makes somebody capable or what makes somebody credible? And he was talking about his dad being an alcoholic. And he had this epiphany one day of, holy shit, like my dad got sober one day. And he got sober because he went to AA and he had a sponsor that helped him. And this sponsor was just a regular person. He didn't have degrees. He didn't have these credentials. But what made him capable of helping his dad was the fact that he'd been through this. He'd seen the life that it was and the life it is without. And he was able to help this person, help his dad, because he'd been there. And so that's what I'm doing here, is that I'm trying to talk to people about things that I've dealt with or things that they've dealt with to get that information out there for people, to let everybody know that somebody's going through something or somebody's been through something, and hearing their story and the way they've either overcome it or their different coping mechanisms, all those different things that help them become the person they were or the person they are from the person they were. And so I'm hoping that that's the direction I keep going, is to be able to sit down with these people and have open conversations about their lives, the struggles they've had, the struggles they've seen, or even the triumphs they've had, the things they've overcome. And hopefully in that message comes out. And whether it's not every episode is going to hit for everybody, but if there's one episode that helps one person, that's my own hopes. And so to get through that imposter syndrome is just me pushing my comfort zone and me having to remind myself that I am capable, because I've been through some shit and I've seen some shit, and I can help people get through that too. And so I kind of just want to tell people, whatever you're doubting yourself with, whatever you're thinking, those negative thoughts, push past them, push that comfort zone, step out of that comfort zone and try whatever you're thinking, whether it's doing motivational quotes or whether it's doing little things to make people smile, or whatever you feel like you want to do to bring a little bit of joy and a little bit of light to this world, because hopefully that's what I'm doing. And another thing that I wanted in this was just to tell people, to ask you guys for some feedback. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you think of the podcast. If you listen to any, tell me your favorite guest we've had, and tell me any future guests that you think we should have. Somebody who you think would fit well on here, whether it's like the people I've had, where it's a local coffee shop owner like Jamie, or HVAC like Ben Rogers, or a CrossFit guy like Mike Cajou, Nikki Rackner, or therapist like Jordan Brown, anybody like that. If you have a recommendation, let me know. And like I said, let me know what you think about the podcast so far, anything you think it's lacking or could use more of. And other than that, I'd like to say thank you, and check out our stuff at Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, all Tough Enough Movement. And thanks for coming in.